last verse. And this is the verse that I wanted to talk about this week that I did not know was going to tie into what I talked about on the podcast. He says in verse 11, last verse, he says, we need to do this unless Satan should get an advantage of us. For we are not ignorant of his devices. And that's what I wanted to talk about this week. I wanted to talk about not being ignorant of Satan's devices. And it just blew my mind when I started reading and just studying it, how it tied so much into last week's podcast and what we were talking about when it comes to what God is doing in these churches. Can I please read the definition of device to you? Listen to it. It says that which is formed by design or invented, scheme. And we know that this is Satan's invention, his scheme, his devices, right? Stratagem. Listen to the definition of stratagem. Means an artifice, particularly in war, a plan or scheme for deceiving an enemy. Guess what? This is war for Satan. He's at war with us. We're not sweating him like that. We know that he's our adversary, but we know that as long as we are one with God, we have power over him. We don't have to worry about him, but he is at war with us. He considers us an enemy. Let me read that again, guys. Particularly in war, a plan or scheme for deceiving an enemy. Who is that enemy? That is us. We know that he is our enemy, our adversary, but we don't sweat him like he sweats us, right? We're all about getting God's job done. We're not out here trying to glorify him and give him props when he doesn't deserve any props. Listen to what the definition goes on to say. An artifice, a trick, and we know that he's a trickster, by which some advantage is intended to be obtained. So this scripture is saying, listen, we got to watch out for his schemes and tricks because he's trying to get some type of advantage. And what advantage is he trying to get? He's trying to lure us from out of the hands of the Lord, because he know he can't just take us out of God's hands. So what he gets us to do, Sister Eve, eat from the tree. What does he gets us to do? Do things that God said, I told you not to do that, so he can lure us away. It's all with tricks and schemes. He has no power to just come and do whatever he want. Where you hear people give him that title, like as if he can just do whatever he wants when he gets ready. No, not to those that have the hedge around him, not to those that belong to Christ. He can't just do anything he wants whenever he wants. But listen to what the definition goes on to say. Sometimes in a good sense, more generally in a bad sense, as artifices are usually employed for bad purposes. And for those of you that don't know what an artifice is, listen to the definition. An ingenious device in a good or bad sense. In a bad sense, it corresponds with trick or fraud.